Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel.
Yes, you're welcome back to another exciting, amazing episode of Forever Together with
With the Ekimas. Yes, if it's your first time here, please subscribe, like.
Don't forget to turn on that notification bell just next to the subscribe button so that you're reminded every time we upload a video.
Absolutely. Ekime Emmanuel is my name.
Daphne Ekima is my name.
Yes.
Together we are
the Ekimas. So baby, today what are we discussing?
Yeah, so today we are talking about all things infidelity, cheating, same-sex relationships, exes, boundaries, all those interesting things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they make they're usually the source of conflict in almost every relationship. Yeah. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Absolutely.
Christ in the center. Welcome to forever. This is our perfect synchrony, like leather and feathers. No matter the weather, we can storm the umbrellas. Take a stroll in my heart. Let's take this further when I'm beside you, baby. See my stakes get better. Let me bet it all. That's the divine letters. Rosy the emotional description of this love. I am yours, you are mine. The only thing that matters now. We are the Ekimas.
Yes guys, so why we are doing this video is that we did a Q&A on Instagram. If you're not following us already on our Instagram, what are you waiting for? That is a handle. Please do the needful. So my love, the questions, we're going to read the questions. One of them was, how do you protect your marriage from cheating? So I think the person who asked wanted to know how we do it in our context, but also what we would advise. The other person asked, how do you I've already read that. Should my same-sex friends be my husband's friends as well?
Wow, interesting.
And the other one was, can I be friends with my exes? So we kind of hinted on these things in the previous video, but I feel like we didn't have the chance to exhaust them, and this I'm sure will be a good opportunity for us to exhaust them. And another person actually DM'd me after the video and said, you guys, what you were talking about, how do I even tell my spouse that I'm talking to my exes? Like, how? So I think that part of the video was shaking many tables where people's drinks were. So we hope we can diverge into it, baby.
So maybe if I may answer, baby. The person who asked, these are conversations that each couple should have. It's very important that a couple has a conversation in regards to their boundaries, in regards to how they want their relationship to shape up. So for us, in our experience, we had this conversation at the very beginning, and then we continued having it. It's a conversation that you continue having. These are things that you must know what is appropriate and what is inappropriate for your relationship. In your relationship. So there are no fast and hard rules for boundaries. So each couple will choose which rules they want to follow, what is appropriate and what's inappropriate for them. So we advise each couple out there to have the conversation, at least discuss about that, know what is appropriate for your relationship and what is not appropriate for your relationship. Maybe to dive into our experience, when we were dating, we had this conversation. We continued having this conversation about our exes, about our members of opposite sex, about all aspects, what was appropriate for us and what was inappropriate for us as a couple. So it was a healthy conversation that we had, and it helped us a bit shape our understanding and then know. So maybe if I may, I think it goes back to when the conversation, as somebody said, how do we shape the boundaries? On my side, it was okay. I thought it was okay.
Sorry, maybe my love, just to come in there. I just wanted to say that, just like you said, that couples need to have this conversation. You'll be surprised that in most cases, actually what one partner thinks as appropriate, the other might not think as appropriate.
Absolutely.
And I think that was our case when we met, when we started dating. So sometimes you enter the relationship, sometimes you go into the marriage, and years pass and you've just never had the conversation, and that is very risky. That's a recipe for disaster, because you're both, you know, you're on different pages. You that's when someone start accusing you of you know, jealous or what, all those things. So you'd rather have the conversation.
It's
and
very important.
In our context, we didn't, at the start, we were actually on different pages. What you considered appropriate was not
appropriate for you.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we had that conversation, I realized I was on a different page, in regards to what is appropriate and what was inappropriate. So at my time, I could still converse with my friends who are from the opposite sex. My exes, I would talk, and some even could seek my counsel. I think I remember there was a lady who was married, actually, my very good friend. She was married, and she kept on coming to me to seek.
Was that when we were dating?
I think that was when...
I think so. The difference was at the point when we were dating. That was the point when we had the differences, when you still talk to your exes. I think we spoke that about that
in the other episode.
Video. And then we as a result of that, we started to discuss about it. And for you, I remember your position was, what mattered was my state of my heart, right?
It wasn't intention.
It was about someone's innocence. That is what mattered, regardless of whether they were talking to exes, regardless of whether they were best friends with, I don't know. It was about the intention of the heart. That was your perspective. For me, it was more than just your innocence. It was, how do I or you interpret the situation?
Maybe to cut you short, baby, sorry. At that point, to me it was okay, because I was coming from a totally innocent point of view. I felt like, if we're done, it is okay to be done, but
keep the
friendship. And innocently, I took it without anything, knowing that we're just friends. There are no boundaries. And I knew you trusted me, but you are under no obligation to trust the other person, because you don't know them, you don't know their motives. So when we had that conversation, it helped me open up, and I'm like, wow, I don't need to put my partner in such a situation that she has to trust me and also trust the other person. Yes, you are under obligation to trust me, of course, which you do, but trust is built. And the more you engage into these conversations, people attract, people connect, and then that's when one thing will lead to another. So that's why and when we had that conversation, it helped us, and I came to an understanding, and I was like, I think it's better for us to set up some appropriate and inappropriate rules that we should have in our marriage.
So maybe to ask you, at what point did you feel like, at what point did your mind change? Let me put it that way. And why? Why did you come to say, it's, more than just about whether you're innocent or not? What led you to that position, or what,
I think what led to that position is that the more we continued growing, we continued growing and reading and sharing, getting to know each other, then we got to a point where I understood that, marriage is all, this is what they call the marriage pyramid. Where you have God first, then you have your spouse, then you have your children, then you have your family, then you have others. So anything in that pyramid, the way it is, anything that that's the hierarchy. So I knew that I got to realize that my spouse comes number 2, not even my children, not even my family. So the moment you understand that, as in when you look at exes, friends, members of opposite sex, they're down, they're the last, they're in others. So nothing should come before your spouse. So the moment I understand that, this is the godly pyramid, this is the hierarchy of marriage, I got to understand that nothing should come first before my spouse. So my spouse takes precedent over anything be
Yeah.
it my family, be it my friends, be it my exes. So I understood that, and the moment I appreciated that fact that there's a hierarchy, God's hierarchy that is there, and your spouse comes first, then that formed my transformation, and we continued having that conversation to try to see how we can set boundaries for our marriage and understand.
And also maybe to mention, so just for clarity or to qualify this, we are not saying you can't have same-sex friends. Actually, I think you mentioned that you were also friends with same-sex. That is okay. I don't think that was ever an issue with us. It was never. I don't think that was an issue. I think the issue was to do with the exes. So it is okay to have same-sex friends. So and I think we're going to dive into now the boundaries that we later set in our context. These are the boundaries we advise. So you can either take them or leave them, but you might need to have a conversation with your spouse about these boundaries. And I think this goes to also answer the person who asked, how do you protect your marriage from cheating? So we believe that and it is a fact, cheating does not happen, or infidelity does not happen at the point when you have inappropriate relations with the other person. It is a process. It is a process. We have emotional cheating, we have physical cheating as well. So you need to be able to understand, to be self-aware, and in the other video we talked about accountability.
Very important.
You need to be self-aware and also be accountable to your spouse, so that they are able to keep you in check. And again, we're not here to say stalk your partners. It's not to qualify you to stalk your partners, to be too much in their space. No, we are saying create a space where you genuinely are accountable to each other for the sake of looking out for each other. And you mentioned something about a friend who was confiding in you. So this came actually later during our marriage, when we had already established the boundaries. And would you want to speak to that?
So at that point, this was my very good friend
from before
even we met. So she was confiding in me, telling me about how I have these great ideas, business ideas that
she was a married.
She was a married. Actually, to God, she was a married person. So she was saying, I like you. Okay, she was sharing me business ideas. So she liked me for the business ideas that we shared, not in the actual sense of that love kind of
Definitely.
but in that sense. So we continue sharing. I think my point was when she was talking about her partner, that the partner has no business ideas.
The husband.
The husband has no business ideas and he wasn't supportive. I realized that
she needed someone to talk to.
She needed somebody else to talk to. If I was to talk to her, I needed to talk to her with her husband. I could not talk to her alone because she was now confiding in me. She was opening up her marriage. So I realized that there's something, and there's what we call, you start connecting. People forget one thing, that you connect with somebody. Somebody starts sharing their problems, and you're like, wow. We can do this. You're the solution. So in the person's eyes, you're solving the problem. So the moment you start
to magnify you. And I think the challenge that was with that situation. So this was after we had even set the boundaries. So I knew that you were actually meeting this person. And I think it was okay. On my end, I didn't see an issue with it because she was married, but also she was your friend from before, and she was genuinely seeking guidance. But I think the issue was, and this is another boundary that we have had to set and we would advise to set. If you are in a same-sex relationship, so these boundaries are, so we said it's okay to have friends of the opposite sex, but when these friendships begin to have some of the signs that we are going to discuss, then you might need to think twice about them. As a must, your spouse should be aware of them and holding you accountable. So if you're going to meet this person, your spouse should know if, for whatever context, So I was saying that at that point, one of the reasons, and again one of the points that we speak to is the fact that if you find that the person of the opposite sex who is your friend is beginning to confide in you about the issues in their marriage, so in this context it was she was telling you her husband did not have business ideas. She was not, and indeed it could have been true. It might be true actually. And probably that's why she was seeking your counsel. So it was more of, my husband does not have all these ideas, I need someone to give me these ideas. It was also that the husband was not supportive. So and I think on your end you mentioned that the more she kept talking to you, the more it seemed like she was starting to even feel like the husband is not helping.
Absolutely. And the more she talked, I realized that she's now comparing. That's again another point.
When you start to compare.
When you start comparing your spouse with
with
this person of the opposite sex, I mean, that's where problems are about to happen. So she was comparing, so I realized that's another problem. Then number two, she was telling me her things, her marital issues, and I felt like I wasn't the right person to be telling. First of all, I'm a person of the opposite sex. Yes, we are friends, but I mean,
there should be boundaries.
And I knew that no, these are boundaries that we cannot we can't cross. So the more she continued, so I had to advise. I think what I shared with you, I was like, baby, my friend needs help, but the help is not going to come from me, because if I continue advising her, she will start getting more resentment
towards the husband. And it does not help her marriage.
And then she's also comparing a husband with me. And trust me, that is not a bed that you want to lay. Because once you lay such a bed, it affects your marriage. Not only my marriage, but also her marriage. Because now the aspect of comparing comes in, and that's one of the worst things when you start comparing, that my husband does this, this one does not do this. This one does this one does not do. That is the emotional cheating that starts happening before the physical cheating, as my wife really explained. Before the physical cheating happens. So the emotional cheating starts from there. You're comparing your husband, your spouse, to another person. You're comparing your spouse to this person. This person can do this. This person can do this.
I wish my
husband can do this. And
that's a danger zone.
That's the danger zone that you're trading in, and that's a yellow card. That's a warning sign that has not yet reached to a red card where you will have the physical. But once you see that yellow card, that warning sign, then you need to back off.
Reevaluate, like we said.
You reevaluate such friendship, and either you sever ties with that person,
or keep a distance, a healthy distance. And another thing I wanted to speak to is the fact that so we usually generally people have this tendency that, that's my friend, this is so and so, no, there's not, I'm not attracted to them. But that's another thing we want to advise against, thinking that you're Superman, that you're untouchable, that for you that is a lie from the devil, and you need to chase it back to the devil where it belongs, because anyone can fall into a trap. Just because you have a ring on your finger does not mean that you stop looking at other people, and that is a fact.
That's a fact.
Just because you have a ring on, you know how we start relationships is that we meet and then we find that we share something in common. And that attracts us. In fact, even with the same sex, if my best friend, I am her friend because we share something in common. So that any friendship we have, there's always an attraction already. It might not be sexual, but it is there. It could be a love for telenovelas. I don't like telenovelas, but it could be that. It could be the fact that we all love a certain restaurant. It could be, it could be a love for history. And every time we meet, we talk about history, and we just talk and talk and talk, and we're just like, wow, like we're vibing. And then the next thing, if you're married, you're like, wow, I wish my spouse, if let's say it's a guy, you have this friend who loves soccer and is into soccer, and they just love, I just like, man, I wish my wife would be the one supporting me. And then you start vibing and vibing. By vibing, I mean like you get along, you're connecting, yes. And then from there, you start to notice even the other things that you share in common. And the next thing you know, you
from one thing,
you're connecting and connecting them more. And then the next thing you know, you start to say things like, wow, this person actually looks beautiful. I hadn't noticed. You know, even how we build marriages themselves. You meet this person out of the many, but you vibe, and then you just notice.
The vibe
I know
connects.
you've had that statement that, God, I never used to think this person was nice looking, but God, they look good. Suddenly they start to look beautiful, and then from emotional to physical, and the next thing you know, you say the devil has. But there's no devil, guys.
It's you.
We give so much power, so much credit to the devil, but if only we created boundaries, it would help. And then my love also, I think I wanted to speak to something you said about, it's skipping my mind. You mentioned, I've lost my chain of thought. You can continue.
Maybe just to add on what you're saying, baby.
Yeah.
The moment you start, and it's important, the moment you start saying, I wish, that's a yellow card.
Yeah.
Those are warnings. They're warning you that, you know, you're trading in dangerous waters.
Yeah.
So every person who starts, I wish my spouse was like this. I wish what are you wishing?
That means there's a certain...
There's a void that has been created, and so you want to fill it. And I want to say also, let's not, ladies normally fall victims of this. The gentleman will come and say, you know, my marriage, you know, I've been struggling, and they're telling you everything, and you're like, wow.
They must be in a rough marriage.
They must be in a rough marriage, and trust me, you think you're the savior, the Superman coming to save the marriage. I mean, that's not in your place. And saying that if I was with you, we can connect. You know,
my wife doesn't do
my
this.
wife
My husband
does not
doesn't
do this, and I mean, those are dangerous grounds. And
if you start to have such conversations, and I think I've remembered what I wanted to mention. So this is, we are talking to three parties here. The spouse who is offended or uncomfortable, the one who is involved in the friendship, and the friend. So I wanted to mention that, you see, in the scenario that you gave about the friend who was confiding in you, you had the responsibility to their marriage as well.
That's
and
true.
So it was not more of, okay, what is happening between me and her, but you were looking at their marriage as well. That I don't want to be in a position where someone starts to belittle their spouse or to look at them as though they are not of help. So even you, if you are the one on the other end, and this married person is crossing certain boundaries, you need to be able to step back and say, you know what, no, I don't go past here. And you don't have to do a lot of explaining, because that's a union you're getting in between.
That's true.
So I think we also need to do better in that area. That if I am at work, for example, and there's this male person who always wants to have coffee after work, wants to do this, wants to make certain flirtatious comments, I'm just not going to sit back and just be like, oh, ha 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 ha. No, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Can we just create boundaries? And the other point, I think, is about where you start to have conversations about sex with this person. That was another point where you need to reevaluate that friendship. Would you like to speak to that?
Maybe to add on what you were saying earlier, before I go to that one, you find, baby, you know, the reality is you do not spend enough time with your spouse.
Actually,
that's the fact.
You spend more time at work, or
you spend more time at work, absolutely, because you see, you work for 12 hours. You wake up very early in the morning. For our case scenario, you wake up very early in the morning. We're heading off to work. Then return back, so we can still bond and talk throughout the journey. And then, but the moment you get to work, you have 12 hours at work. So that is enough time. So you find that if somebody gives you your time, I'm talking about workplaces, you're with this colleague who is, he's helping me with this. That guy is brilliant. This lady is helping me. She's active. She does this. You are innocently going into something. You're breeding ground for what we call emotional Yeah, you're emotionally getting, and there's what we call intellectual intimacy. But you like the person because gets this work done. Oh, it does this, it does this, it does this. From getting the work done, you're saying, oh, can we have a cup of tea? As you were explaining, can we do this? Oh, can we do this? So you find that you're breeding ground, and slowly by slowly you're getting, and as you said, baby, rightly, that two people come together with an attraction. That attraction brings you closer.
Yeah, it's always there, whether sexual.
One thing starts connecting you to another. So at the end of it all, you do not spend a lot of time with your spouse. So you will come back and you're heading to bed or whatever, really. Then you start, another point actually, which I was trying to say, you start, what you're saying, you start flirting at work, or you're talking about sex. I mean, what do you have to talk about sex with? You're a married person.
Yeah.
Or you're in a relationship. Why must you talk about sex?
And even if this person is discussing sex, not with you, it doesn't have to be, I like this, I like, no. The person might even be making jokes about a television show that, in this movie, this and this, funny innuendos. I think I shared with you about a workmate, I won't mention the place, somewhere, who was in a superior position, and we were just having lunch after one of the meetings, and he just started making these funny comments, and then making jokes on the other end. Hey, you guys, I think you guys can hit it on. You guys are all, you seem to be all active. I'm just like, what is going on here? What? Like, I'm sorry, what? We were all uncomfortable, everyone who was around, and I'm just like, what is this guy driving? And like, why? And he was a married man, so I was like that is a no-go area, and I had to end that conversation. So I think the point in all this is that you need to know that cheating is not the act.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There are things that lead you to
cheating, yes.
And you need to be aware of them and stay off them. Some people have gone on to say, I cannot have a same-sex friend without that is not friends with my spouse. We would recommend that if it's a close same-sex friend, and if my friend is not okay with my spouse,
then you reevaluate, you cut it off. You see, as we said, the hierarchy. I have no business
with you if you're not cool with my husband. So that's also, because it's one thing for you to mean well or to be innocent, but the other person is not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you mentioned, baby, I'm under obligation, and it's also putting an unrealistic burden and expectation and responsibility on your spouse to trust you and also trust the other person. It's unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair.
I am under duty to trust you, but I cannot trust the other person.
Yes.
So I think that also comes in, and on the point you had mentioned about the spending time, if you're spending a lot of time with this person, you might need to reevaluate. It could be that maybe work puts you together, but you find that you're spending a lot more time with this person than your spouse, or you're home and you're just like, you're texting and your spouse is just like, who is that? No one. And it's like that time you're having with that person, you'd be spending it with your spouse. Or this person calls you any time of the night. Oh, I'm stuck, She used to be your friend from before. This person who would call upon you, and you're just like, oh, you run and help, well-meaningly. But when you get married, guys, some boundaries have to be put in place. Some friendships have to be reevaluated. The moment a friendship is causing conflict in my marriage, even if I mean well, even if I am innocent, you are innocent, if my spouse starts to feel a certain type of way, it might be an indicator that maybe I need to reevaluate.
Yes.
And that's enough, by the way. Even your spouse not being okay with it is enough for you to say no. That's why we talked about the hierarchy. Anything that triggers that shakes that position of my spouse, then it's not worth keeping. Anything that causes a headache, I can't be fighting with my husband over the same person. It can't be that important, really.
Yeah, maybe to add on what you're saying, when you talked about spending time, I feel like you steal that time. That time you spend texting and doing that,
That's the
are
time you'd be connecting with your spouse.
So you're stealing that time away from your spouse. And as we already said, you find that you don't know the other person. What are their love languages?
That's another point. I think that's another point. If you are always giving and receiving gifts from this person, or you have these rituals that you do, there might be need to re-evaluate.
That's true.
So gifting is a whole love language, like you said. Gifting is a whole love language. You don't know that as you give gifts to this person, it's his birthday, it's I don't know what those rituals you used to have before you got married, which were well intended probably. Now that you're married, you might need to reevaluate them. If you have these rituals that for us every this we do this, every this, you know them, it could be as a group or individually, you might need to reevaluate them.
Maybe to speak some experience about that. I remember when we got married, like we share birthday. I think we've talked about that before. So a friend of mine who happens also to be, she was my friend.
She was your friend first and more, but she knew me.
Yeah, she knew you. So sends me birthday gifts and we were married.
She always sent you. She always sent you, even from before. I think you guys had your.
So this time she just sends me a birthday gift. And I'm like, alone. And then she knew that yes, me and my wife we share birthday.
I mean, it happened like twice. I think the first time I was just like, oh, okay, maybe this is their thing.
Yeah, but I think for
then
me, my side,
the
second time it again happened. So I was like, as in we had to have a discussion.
And you know, guys, what happened? You guys, people are really wicked. People are not easy. Because she wanted it to be a surprise, she even used my number. She called the person who was bringing the gift, gave them my number, and said, deliver to this person, to me. So I was receiving a gift for my husband from a friend on our birthday. And man, this gift didn't have anything to do with me. And this is someone I knew, by the way, that we were not, And I was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? I am not understanding what is here, So... You need to reevaluate that, and again, like we said, there are no hard and fast rules, but certain things are just a little too inappropriate.
I think
just a little. I think
just to add, baby, sorry to cut you short. Just to add on what you're saying, like it was my duty. I also felt it. I was like, wow,
that's strange.
That's strange. You know, you can't send me a gift, and you know it's my wife's birthday. You know her, and I mean. First of all, gifts are not my love language, so at least that is okay. But you may find
talking about the other anyone.
You may find that your love language is gifts. You want to be gifted. That's your love language.
And even if not just on your end, the question is, what is the other person's motive?
Yes.
What business do I have sending a married man all these gifts each and every his anniversary, and I'm sending him alone and not the wife? Like, what is going on?
As in what's up? So and it's so strange, but these things happen, these things happen, and you know it's easy to brush it off, and you know,
or call your spouse jealous or
you may start saying
you're
maybe you're thinking too much.
This is my best friend. And by the guys who say you have married and you have best friends of the same sex, are you fine? Guys, let's not kid let's not kid ourselves, guys. No.
So it's something, those are signs that you see
that this friendship needs to
be reevaluated. I mean, as I've given you, we have talked about the hierarchy. Man, at the end of it all, you must look at, where's my spouse? My spouse is after God. I mean, where is this person? Where is this best friend? I mean, what has helped us in our marriage is that me and my wife were best friends. First, I will tell her ABCD, she will tell me ABCD. Like, I know more about her. I think we've shared that in our video. Like, but what helps us is also the aspect of openness and accountability. I mean, that's key. That's a good principle in marriage. You need to be accountable, and open to your spouse. And that brings us to another point of, does your spouse know your passwords? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, password of your phone,
your bank account,
your email.
We are shaking tables again.
Yeah, well, we are really shaking tables here
with people's dreams.
So you find that I've made it in the previous videos. We've talked about it. Me and my spouse, she knows my password, I know. So there's no room. I don't need to give her any room to think that this and this is happening. Of course, there are those.
No, you can continue.
Of course, there are those that are, of course, the men who text and after you're deleting the message. The fact that you're trying to delete a message,
that should speak to you.
That speaks something that you're in trouble.
Yeah, that friendship or whatever is headed nowhere.
Nowhere, absolutely. So that openness that you create and that accountability that my spouse can check my phone wherever, anytime, can check my emails, can check, helps. I mean, that is one thing that we designed.
And we're not saying, guys, we're not giving you a leeway to go and stalk your spouses and be in their phones every day and night. No, guys, if you have insecurity issues, you need to deal with them. And we're also not saying don't accuse your spouse of insecurity, being insecure if they're asking for common decency. So us giving each other our passwords is not that he doesn't trust me, I don't trust him. It's saying I have nothing to hide.
I have nothing to hide.
I have nothing to hide. If indeed I have nothing to hide, what is so hard with him having my passwords? What am I protecting? What is that is in my phone that someone asks you for your phone and let me come. Yo, guys.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing that ladies or men, you have no business in somebody's phone. I mean, for me, that's off.
What's that?
What's that? As in, two become one. They've said two become one. As in, then you say you have no business in being somebody's. As in, I personally do not subscribe to that reasoning, and I feel there are those who were in that school of thought, and that's there.
Yeah, that's why we said you have to discuss.
Yes, you have to discuss. But I think for me, and we have discussed with my spouse,
we don't see the point.
No. I mean, if we're going to build trust, and we already hinted on this, sin thrives in secrecy.
Yeah.
If there are things to hide, that means there. If you can hide something, that means there are very many things that are happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, how are you going to be accountable to your spouse when your phone there's a password in your phone, there's a password to your WhatsApp, there's a password to everything. Like, you have passwords. You're living a private life, and yet you're married. So
come open accountabilities.
Come open, be accountable to your spouse, let them know, discuss. In case, actually, for me, if somebody let's say somebody texts me on my Insta or on Facebook, my wife, I will share with her. I'll be like, this person is saying ABCD. And
don't you think that's a bit strange? Yeah. So if you've ever texted me, guys, we discussed it. If you texted him with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is that you need to be accountable. I mean, for us men, I mean, we don't read signs.
Yeah.
We don't read signs. I mean, not be in position to read that, okay, this is now an advancement. Somebody's trying to...
I think there's the presumption that women can't hit on you.
Yes.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yet,
Well,
I mean, we can be quite crafty.
Yeah. So, you need that partner to be like,
That
may not be. And trust me, like, people whom I knew, like, are just friends. And I'm like, baby, those are my friends. There is nothing. Over time, you start realizing something. I mean, you can't start speaking evil things about my wife and you think we can be friends. I mean, how
do you even entertain that conversation?
I mean, how?
Where do you get the audacity to even...
I mean, you're speaking about my wife,
yeah,
and you're saying, where do you get that?
Yeah.
So those are small things that happen, and you can brush them off and be like, it's okay, but it's not okay.
I don't even know how someone can brush that off.
You need to respect,
even beyond it's beyond crossing the line.
So you need to know that I must protect my relationship. I mean,
you need to protect your spouse's dignity. I think that's another point. I want my husband to walk his head high in public, not being looked at as, oh, that man is in trouble, or a woman is walking around. I mean, we see these things. A woman is walking around and like, man, that man's husband, that woman's husband, hey, always sliding in our DMs, always like, you guys, no, like, let's be kind to our spouses. Like, I live at some level of decency, and these things also cut across in relationships. Yeah, it's not just married people, even in relationships. Have some common decency for your spouse. Yeah. They shouldn't be looked at as no.
Absolutely. You see, at the end of it all, you know, it happens a lot, and you know, people talk and they're like, I pity that woman, I pity that man. I mean, why? First of all, you're disrespecting yourself.
Yeah.
But above all, you're now disrespecting your partner. You're making your partner become a laughing stock in public, in society, and people are like, I mean, why must you?
Yeah.
Bring all that because of certain things you really need to cut off, and you know, you have to sever ties over that. And you know, I've entered my marriage, I need to build my marriage, I need to build this relationship that I've entered. I mean, let me give you an example. You know, I've been talking, my wife has never put me in such a position whereby I need to think, and I'm like, wow. I mean,
and I think we had discussed it when I just got married. I think your thing was you always said, maybe, okay, when we were dating, you always said, maybe I'm saying it's not appropriate because I don't have friends of the opposite sex. And I told you, no, I actually have. I had so many, but I had to draw my boundaries, and so you never got to have to experience that bit. So you might be saying, oh, this person is, but they've drawn their boundaries, and that was when we were dating. And for me, I think that's why I was saying sometimes you can come in a relationship or a marriage and your definition of boundaries is different. For me, I had gone through this whole process of redefining, you know, boundaries, friendships, because I was trying to date. I moved from, you know, I had learned that you cannot give wrong signals to a person, so even if it's a friend, even if you're single, so in a way I had learned to draw boundaries even when I was single. So by the time we met, I mean, for me, I'm a bit more conservative, I think, with my boundaries. Like, I am just like, I think I'm a bit more conservative than you are. No, okay, now I think we are both on the same page. But at that time, I was a bit more conservative than I think even the ordinary person. I was a bit. So that's why I was saying that you can have those differences and you need to discuss them. And on the issue of confiding in another person, I think we need to hint on that. So I see this a lot, especially in the church. Women have become a problem with pastors. Like, oh my pastor, I'm going to confide in my pastor. And it takes us again to what we were talking about the friend who was confiding in you. We would advise that if you really need business advice, if you really need mentorship, if you really need marriage counseling, find someone, either find a couple to talk to you, if you're doing it without your spouse, or come and do it with your spouse. If you are meeting, say, my husband or your pastor, meet your pastor to the both of you. Pastors are also human, guys.
Absolutely.
And they have marriages, Stop this thing of, oh, my pastor, calling him in the middle of the night. Oh, hello. So you know he has beaten me again. Oh, we are going through this. Oh, like, yo, stop it. Boundaries, guys. So there's need for that as well. And so if I am having a mentor, it needs to be a man. Sorry, a woman. Yes. Or it has to be a couple. I cannot go asking mentorship from a man who is married. We are not saying that by asking mentorship it means you're interested in the person. No, we are just saying boundaries. Boundaries are not creating situations. You as a married woman or man, you should be above reproach. It should be not just that that you have done something inappropriate, but that people might interpret it to be inappropriate. If I'm on Instagram stalking these men with these 6 packs and all, and you know,
I'm working on it.
Oh wow, okay, that's how you just interpret it. But jokes aside, if I am stalking these men and liking their pictures, or if my husband is liking all these pictures of these half-naked women, maybe she liked the attire. I think it has ever happened before. Like you see someone looking nice, and you're like, hey baby, I think you'd look good in this dress, and that's okay, but someone on the other end who sees, is like, is that Mr. Ekima liking this naked woman's picture? So it's what we're saying is that it's more than just what you intend to do, but also what people might interpret, and so that way you build some sort of wall, some sort of wall that will protect you. It's not just about I am innocent, my heart is right, I'm in a good place, what no, I don't care what other people say. It's just that you're above reproach as a married woman or married man.
Yeah, that's true. And you see, there's what we call baby, you're talking there's what we call financial infidelity, but you find that
that's another point.
That's another
sign.
point.
Another
sign. You need to question
if you're paying.
You're spending on this person of the opposite sex, and you're not notifying your spouse about it, or your partner, or if you're in a relationship. I'm paying this person's school fees, I'm paying this person's rent, I'm helping this person, maybe he or she is stuck, has bills, has what. I mean, you find that you are doing it. Yes, you may mean well, you may be coming from another place, but that person, you're meeting their needs. You're meeting their needs. You may find that
that money would have been to your spouse or to your family.
You find you're meeting their needs, and we're not encouraging that guys be mean, but what we're saying is that if you're in a relationship, if you are married, share such things. Do not do it in isolation, in private, because the moment you start doing things in private, other things happen in private. I'll give you an example in the Bible. This is a story that all of us know of Joseph. His job was to interpret dreams for the king, and the next thing, the king's wife calls him to interpret for him a dream, and he innocently goes to interpret what? The dream. But the other person's intentions were fish, and all what happened. The next thing, he had to just flee, and that's what we're saying, that once you see these signs, flee.
In fact, don't go in positions that will require you to flee. In fact, don't even create an environment. Exactly.
Don't create that environment. Don't meet in secrecy. Don't have those dinners alone.
Locked doors.
In locked doors.
If I'm meeting some of the opposite sex, why are we closing that? Why are we?
So do not create those things, but because we are not that strong. You may think you're strong. Nothing. No, we are not strong. Sexual immorality, the only solution is to flee
and create
boundaries. And when baby you were saying getting up, I remember when we were dating, we went to see a certain pastor.
Yeah.
And we wanted him to walk with us as a couple, and straight away told my wife, I can walk with your boyfriend. Your boyfriend, I can help him. But for you
need to find a lady.
You need to find a lady
to walk with,
and
it didn't make sense.
Exactly.
We had genuinely come like, both of us, me, because he wanted us to both, like, his thing was, you both need to have people you look up to, and then we can always have these meetings together, the two of us. But he said, I cannot walk with you alone and then you alone. I am going to walk with him, but you need to find a lady to walk with. And that was deep.
It was deep. And it didn't make sense to us that time.
But he was trying to say, I am a married man.
Yes.
I shouldn't be counseling you. You need a woman to mentor you. So if you must, because sometimes you can say, this is the only person who knows ABCD in this industry or whatever it is, and it's a man of the opposite sex. Like we have said, you can have friends, but within boundaries. Yes. So if you must seek this person's counsel, but I know usually there's always another woman out there or another man out there who has. If you must, then do so with the utmost caution. Utmost caution, utmost accountability. So the other thing is inappropriate conversations. Someone who has inappropriate conversations you might want to, in fact, you need to cut that, yeah? So an example is when we had just gotten married, and this usually happens when people have just gotten married, and there are these people who can't overlive with the fact that people are married, or I don't know. So there's this one guy who, he wasn't even like a close friend, but who went into my inbox, and I think I shared it with you, and he's like, hi, you know, you must really love your husband. And I'm like, why would I not love him if I'm married to him? He's like, yeah, he talks and he's like, you know, I was also interested in you. And I'm like, yo, you don't disrespect me like that. You don't disrespect my husband. You don't disrespect my marriage. And I just blocked this person to date. So there are people who come and make certain comments, Such comments, if those comments demean your spouse or are disrespectful to you or to your marriage, you might need to cut those ties. You might need to cut those ties without even thinking twice. Because such a person has you. I mean, they're not your friend.
They don't mean good to you. To you and your marriage. Maybe just to round up, baby. I think it's good for each couple to have this conversation.
Like we said.
As we said in the start, why we started this channel was to start conversations. Guys, go have these conversations in your relationships. It's better when you start earlier, the better. Those that are married at any stage, whether 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's also okay to have these conversations, because marriage is a lifetime ministry. So you need to know, you need to discuss the things so that you keep a healthy relationship.
And to avoid cases of the devil or having to explain, you don't put yourself in situations where you have to explain.
So have this conversation. This is what we had for you today. In this YouTube. Please subscribe, like, comment.
And please share. Thank you for those of you who are sharing our videos. We're getting a lot of feedback from out there, and it's because you're sharing these videos. If you haven't turned on your notification bell, please do, so that you're notified every time we upload a video. The notification bell is just next to the subscribe button on our profile. Please turn it on so that the moment a video is loaded, you are the first to know. Till next time.
Thank you, guys. You're really good. Bye.